Hi, welcome to Fontis Insider. I am Kim Bassett, your host. Today, you are in for a real treat. Here at Fontis, we want to keep your brand top of your customer's mind. We do that through our print collateral. We do it for our promotional items. But how else are your customers getting their eyes on your brand? And do you have a brand strategy? So if you are wondering about that, or if you would like to know more, today is the show for you. Today on Fontis Insider, coming from Las Vegas, Nevada, is Ati Grinspun. This strong, passionate woman is on a mission. Not only is she a wife and mom, but Ati is the founder of the BU Brand Academy. She works diligently to empower and teach people how to build exceptional, profitable personal brands, empowering people to shed the fear of presenting their true selves in a society where social media either makes or breaks you. Ati says, clarifying your mission in being in control of your personal brand is not a luxury. It is a must. Ati, welcome to Fontis Insider.
Hello, how are you?
My daughter saw me putting that together today, and she was just like, oh my gosh, I have to meet her.
Oh, yes, I love that.
So I am so honored and so excited for you to be on today. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Yes, I am so honored. We just met in person after a while. Like we met yesterday, and that was so amazing. So I'm
Yes,
happy to be here.
yes. I want to talk a little bit about that. So,
Yes.
here we have been in a, place where, and that's why I created Fontis Insider, so everyone's online and they can come and see and don't have to be to places. But we had the opportunity with Social Register, right? With Mary Gray, she's been on Fontis Insider before, and we got to be at an event, and it was so amazing to be able to see people and feel each other's energy, give hugs for those who wanted to give hugs. And
Oh
it
my
was just an
God.
honor to see you.
I was on a high. Like I was telling my husband, I even woke up this morning. I was so tired, but tired because like I literally was on a high. Like
Yes.
just from seeing people in real life. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, no. And it's so exciting because my husband was like, yeah, I got home last night and I was just buzzing just like you. And he was just like, Kim, this is such an exciting time for you guys to have a business right now, because there's so much growth in Las Vegas. There's so many things, people coming in because of the stadium, and just the growth that we're having here is exponential. And so there's going to be more and more small businesses, and I want them to see and know you, because I know
Aw.
you've already started helping me. I was on your show yesterday, and I'm already starting to make some tweaks, and I'm just getting so excited, and just your energy, just who you are. So I want everybody to kind of hear your story really quick, and get to know you a little bit, and then we'll have our conversation.
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to introduce myself. Do you want like the long version or the short version?
Probably like do 2 minutes.
I'm gonna give you a run. So I'm originally from Argentina. I was brought here to actually work as a bartender. I was a champion flair bartender when I first came to Las Vegas, and I fell madly in love with this city. And while I was bartending here in the city, and I was performing and I was doing all that, I went to school for photography, and I have a passion for it. And for about 10 years, I was a portrait photographer on the side to my casino job. And when I became and I always thought that that was going to be my path, even though that I had the photography side hustle. I couldn't see myself growing that because I was in a very comfortable place. Now, when I became a mom, that changed because all of a sudden I started realizing that I had a lot of purpose, and I was really looking to make a difference in the world. And one of the things that happened was that I also personally I wanted to leave the casino scene because I wanted to be home with my kid. So I started on this crazy quest, right? And at the time I was doing newborn portraits, you call it family photography. And I was doing a little bit of commercial photography, but more like on the headshot reel. So in that picture, I actually got into network marketing. And what happened was that I realized that there was a whole world out there of people really connecting and really working for impact. And I don't know, like this world opened for me, and I'm always grateful. Like right now I'm not pursuing network marketing, but I always say when people have like a bad feeling about it, I'm like, you should try it just because of the growth, like
Right.
whatever. Like I am forever grateful for it because it opened my world to business, to people, to all this growth and impact and purpose.
Yeah.
So I started working with women because, we live in the influencer world. Now we are in the personal branding era, which I really truly believe that the business to business world is kind of ending, and now it's human to human. So
Absolutely.
companies are not more business to business, CEO to CEO. It's all about relationships.
It is.
So
It is connecting, that connection. Everybody talked about it last night, right? I realize we just came from it, but I think you really have that passion and you're onto something here. So keep going.
yes. So at the time I pivot to personal branding photography. And I really have, honestly, when we say toot your own horn, I really do have a gift for seeing beautiful things on other people. And I really do have a gift for really, I am the cheerleader. Do you remember, yesterday I was a pro cheerleader. And one of the things
Yes.
I used to see on my clients, which I been niching down for years now, was that women in general, they were very shy to put themselves out there to really grow a brand, unless you came from maybe like a corporate background and maybe you were already a speaker. As women are starting small businesses, and there is such a need for small businesses. There is so much opportunity out there for
Right.
women like you or me to start businesses from zero, grow your personal brand, and make it huge and really make an impact on the human to human scene. And I kept
Absolutely.
seeing women that really didn't know how to put themselves out there. So they would come to me for photography, and I would be like, oh my God, you need to be doing video. You really need to start speaking. What is your message? What is your vision? Where you're going? And people would be like, I just need photos because I see people doing that on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, but the photos is the representation of your brand. It's not the other way around. You don't start with the photos, right? So I realized at the time that there was a need for these that came natural to me. These all came natural. So I started reading, studying, and like educating myself in what the whole branding scene was.
Yeah.
So eventually I would turn to my clients and I would be like, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, oh my God, we need to get you on Instagram. We need to start doing live video every week, or you need a Facebook group, whatever the case was for their business. And what happened last year with the pandemic was I was already coaching people one-on-one when they came to me for photography. It wasn't that I had like the coach, like title, but I was already doing it. So in March, when everything closed, what happened was people were desperate first to start doing their own photos, because all of a sudden shoots, especially my clients, that I had retainers, I had everything got canceled, and I freaked out. And then I was like, wait, there is something else here. And I started going live. I started like creating all these courses, and people were like, I need that. I need to understand how to put my message on Instagram, because now I can network in person. I need to like understand how to do video. I need to understand. At the time I was doing some workshops on how to take your own photos, because we couldn't get in person for like 3 months or something. So that's when the whole Be Brand Academy started.
That is so beautiful. That isn't it amazing you have these passions. So I have to toot your little horn too. And I am your cheerleader. And I love that you use that. That's why you and I connected. You really do find your tribe, right? Because I've always been, my husband says, "Oh my gosh, you're this family's biggest cheerleader. You're your friend's biggest cheerleader." And I am, right? And I will just tell everybody about everybody. And that's why I started these shows, because I wanted to celebrate and cheerlead for other
I love
people.
that.
But I
Absolutely.
have to tell you this, I told you this right before we came on. I was so excited today to do this sizzle reel, because don't get me wrong, I love all my sizzle reels that I do and the people. But I was really proud of this one, because everything you gave me, the sound bites, you gave me the essence of who you were, you gave me all the pictures, and I'm just like, yes, this was such a fun one, and it was because you had all of it, because that's just what you do, right? And so you walk your walk, you talk your talk, and I want everybody to know that, seriously, that's why if you see a difference in this sizzle reel, it is because of that. So
And
go
I
talk to
think,
her.
yeah, but this is the thing. I feel like there is even though there is the need, people still have a little bit of this idea that branding is fluff, because branding starts with a lot of self-discovery, especially
Mm-hmm.
in the realm where I'm at. And the reason why the program and everything that I'm doing is around be you and the be you brand concept is because not anymore we are creating these personas that don't exist, right? Like if you are
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola, you're creating a persona or this brand around a product, and that is okay because it's a product. It doesn't have its own essence. But when you're a person, you already have a personal brand. You know it or you don't know it, you already have a personal brand. So when you want to put yourself in the marketplace, you have to embrace who you are. And I think the biggest disconnection, especially I see for women over 35, like,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, I'm way over 35. Okay. So what I see is we were from the time before personal brands. So we are
Mm-hmm.
trying to show up in a way that we are not. Maybe we're trying to show up perfect. We are trying to show up in a way that is not authentic. And that is where the disconnection happens. Why a lot of the times people are scared to show up or they don't know what to
Yeah.
say is because they are not taking the time to really do that self-discovery, put it on paper, put it on words that are real to them. Because yes, like that paragraph, right, that you read, I actually had help. I had somebody help me write that. But that came from a live interaction where she asked me all these questions, and this is exactly who I am.
Yeah. No,
There is
it
no
it came out that way. Yeah.
and there is no lying, there is no. So what my if I would have to say something to women that are struggling to put themselves out there, to grow their brand, to then grow their business, is especially coaches, service providers, which is the people that that you and me work with, is start with you. That
Mm-hmm.
is where the disconnection is, and why a lot of people think that branding is fluff, right? Because
Yeah. No.
they don't want to take the time to do that work.
Yeah, and as I work with our customers, right, at Fontis, I'm trying to go in and help them really pick the item. And I was talking to some ladies last night, and they're like, "Well, I've never seen any, product." There was a little ball marker, and it looked, it was heavy, it was nice, and they're like, "I've never seen anything like this." And I said, because everybody doesn't have anyone. They just kind of go up online, buy whatever, instead of really coming and talking to someone who has that expertise, how to help that person find what is best that's going to be in the hands of their customer. You are helping them find their voice and their face and their brand, which is beautiful.
So I have a really cool story that goes back to kind
Please.
of the product that you offer at Fontis. I was a networking event, and this was like when I was just getting started with personal branding photography. This
Mm-hmm.
was not even like, but I always loved, like, even like before Instagram, before that, like I was already into, like, I had my Facebook page for when I was doing portraits, and I loved it. I saw the opportunity on social media from the beginning. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is free advertising. Like I tell
Right.
people, like when people don't want to learn Instagram or LinkedIn, and I'm like, it's free.
Right.
Like you do it from your house, like whatever. Like it's just crazy to me. But I remember I went to this networking event and I met somebody that told me that he had a realtor's office. At the time, I was like, is it a brokerage? I couldn't really understand. And he gave me his business card. And his business card was really thin. And it really, like, in my head was shoestring budget. That's the first thing that I
Yes.
thought. So then I went online, and his website was actually really nice. And this is years ago. So this is when people still went to websites and not to Instagram. Now you meet
Yeah.
somebody and you go to their Instagram first, and then if they have a website, great. But I went to his website, and I remember thinking, is this the same person? And then we end up meeting. And he actually is a pretty, I'm not going to burn him, but like he's a pretty big broker here in town. And I was like, oh. And I ended up doing a lot of photos for him and stuff like that. But my biggest thing was I asked him, I was like, can I give you a recommendation? And I told him, like, your business card is like a beginner's business card. Like, and he was like, you know what? I whip up. I actually didn't have business cards, and I went on at the time was Kinko's. Oh my god. I'm talking, maybe it wasn't that long ago. It was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, but like
Yeah.
things change now. So he was like, oh, I think I whipped up these business cards real quick because I didn't have any. It didn't even occur to me. And it was very clear to me at the time, before
Wow.
I was even like coaching people into branding, before I was even teaching people how your brand is every touch point that your customer has with you. And one of the things I actually teach on my program, which I haven't seen anywhere taught by branding people, is the customer experience. Where are
Yes.
your touch points with your people? Are they coming to your website? Are you getting on the phone with them? Are you sending, I don't know, like thank you cards? In a world
Yeah.
where everything is automated, are you sending thank you cards? And that
Yep.
story actually really, really, really marked a path for me.
Yeah. No, you are hitting all of the touch points. I love that. No, that's great. So who is the I love stories, right? And is there another what I mean, I know you talked a little bit about your journey, but is there a story that's like, yes, this is what I'm going, this is why I'm so passionate about branding?
So one of the biggest thing is when I left my bartending job, I honestly went through a little bit of a dark experience because I came from an industry. I don't even think it was the industry. It was that particular job, my particular experience through that. I was kind of like a big deal in that
Yeah.
role, right? So when I left, I was nobody, and I had to start over.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person that knew that I was good or that I had this passion or whatever, it was me.
Yep.
So what I see other women go through is they quit or they think they're not good enough or and a lot comes to mindset. But when you are taking the time to really put in paper and look for the evidence that what is that you want to accomplish, all of a sudden you start having clarity. And like you and me talked about this because I talk about clarity over and over and over. Nothing will hinder your path more than feeling cloudy and foggy and don't understand where you're going and feeling that you are not good at what you're doing. But in reality, it's not that you're not good, it's that you haven't really taken the time to really put it in paper and follow a system.
And
So
I'm going to say not computer, because you're going to hear, because the teacher in me comes out, hand to paper there's something that happens between the brain and the hand that is powerful. And I talk about that all the time.
I
And
love that.
and I forget about that, right? And you and I had some conversations, and you and I had talked, and I had talked to some other friends recently, and I'm really good at troubleshooting. And but I'm really good at troubleshooting for others. It's always sometimes harder to do it for ourselves. And that's why we need people like you or whoever to have the outside view. But I did that hand to paper thing this weekend, and a lot of clarity came, 100%.
And I think so. So where I saw the passion was that I'm 43 years old. So I became a mom when I was 35, almost 36, so August of that year. And I never saw it coming that I was going to want to leave my job, that I didn't want anything to do with that industry anymore. I'm forever grateful. I loved it. I used to love my life. I used to love my job. I was not the person that I was ever, oh my God, I hate my job. I loved it, loved it, loved it. But at 39, when my kid was 3, I was like, what am I doing here? I want to be home. I want to raise my child. And all I saw around me was women just like me in that kind of jobs and other jobs, even careers.
Mm-hmm.
They hate it.
Mm-hmm.
That they would stay there because they wouldn't have the courage to really put themselves out there, to start something else, to grow something else that they were passionate about. And I'm talking people with so much potential that maybe they were doing a side hustle. Maybe they started doing real estate on the side. But the comfort zone of staying on that job, right? They wouldn't take the leap. And for me, in order to teach something, you don't need to be years ahead. You need to be a few steps ahead. So you can remember how that felt. You can remember how to help somebody. And my passion and my drive for myself, and that's a trait that is mine. But that's why I joke that I'm a professional cheerleader, because I literally do have people sign their own permission slip to promote themselves.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about courage. It's all about taking that first step. And we're all looking for validation. And I know that we shouldn't. And I know that at the end of the day, what other people think, it doesn't matter. But in order to get there, you need to take that first step. And having somebody that can walk you along the way, I wish I had that person. So I always say I created what I wish I had.
And you and I have both said that, right? And I think that's another reason why you and I connected, because, there's some other things that I'm in the process of creating. And I wish I was looking for me for some certain things. So I totally can identify with that, as I sure many women can. I was talking to another guest that was on here, and she says, Kim, did you know that we're back in 1991? The numbers of amount of women that were in the workforce, so many have left. And so I
think it's this year. I read an article and I cannot remember the stats, but this year, the amount of women that left the workforce to either stay home or to start something on their own, it's humongous, because
it's huge.
Women didn't have the option for daycare or for schooling or whatever. But then also, I think what happened is, as they stay home and they saw the opportunity to do something from home, they realized that they don't want to trade those time for dollars. They don't want to keep sending their kid to school at 7 a.m, pick up at 6 p.m. And I honestly think that so much opportunity and so much good came out of COVID. And I know, let's not talk about all the negative, but I think that there was a lot of positive that came out of it. And one of those is so many women, so many people in general, but so many women starting businesses, which I love.
So let me ask you, talk about women a lot. So if men are, hearing this, do you work with men too?
So to be honest, I have a few men clients who are like life coaches and stuff like that. But I honestly think that my calling is in working with women. And it's crazy because growing up, I actually was a tomboy. I didn't
Me too.
even had a lot of girlfriends growing up. Even bartending was a very male dominated. There wasn't really that many guys on the genre that I did with flair bartending and flipping the bottles and doing the shows. And I feel like now I'm getting my revenge for filling my cup with women. However, in the photography side, I do work with a lot of men. Like,
Okay.
especially on the real estate arena, I've been working with a lot of like broker owners and stuff like that, because those people need to start promoting themselves too. They need to be the face of their organizations as thought leaders, right?
Yep,
So
absolutely. No. Oh, this has been so, so great. Now you have a really cool event coming up, and I want to make sure that we get everybody that can find out about that. So her gift to everyone today is to attend a 5-day Clarifying Your Brand Masterclass. BU Brand starts May 31st. Now, how is it? It's 5 days, correct?
it's 5 days. It's at 10 a.m. every day that week. So what I tell people is I'm actually going to be doing a session during the weekend that is only going to be 15 minutes, but to really help people get on the mindset of literally this is going to be for free, but this is worth thousands of dollars.
Oh,
Like I
absolutely.
and you saw some part of it. And this is worth thousands of dollars. So if you come with a goal, with a smart goal, you will be able to then turn around and apply this to your business. And the reason why I say that is because even though it's called the Clarifying Your Brand Masterclass, getting clear is not a goal. I'm getting clear.
That's what I used to say.
Right? I want to get clear. No, what do you want to get out? Do you want to have your I help statement ready by the end of the 5 days? Do you want to have all your ideal clients' pains and what they think and the words they use and all of that, figure it out on a document? Do you actually want to have your content pillars ready? Because those are all topics that we're going to be talking about. But the reason why I say this is because there is so much noise out there. There is so many challenges, so many masterclasses, so many webinars.
There
that
is.
People sign up for the things. They really sit in it for 5 days, and then they turn around and they don't take action.
Right.
Do you remember yesterday when I did that hot seat coaching? I told people, I want you to come back into the Facebook group and post what we just talked about. Because if you sit on the class for an hour with me, and then I give you some action step, which there's going to be, I don't like the word homework because it's very childish, action steps, right? Like action taking for your business, and you don't do it. You just sat and you just consume content that's going nowhere. So you just wasted your time.
Yep, absolutely. So just so you know, I am going to post. I took off my highlights, right? And
yes!
So I am taking action. So I will go in there and I will post that today.
Yes, I appreciate
it. The only thing I'm looking here is where do they go to get the master class?
Okay, so I'm gonna send you an email. They can do a few different things. They can just email to Ati@AtiGrinspun.com and say, hey, my name is so-and-so. I saw you on Fontis Live, and I'll send them, because it's free, but you have to register because you're going to get a workbook. And the workbook is there to be your roadmap. So yes. So at the end of the 5 days, you don't just have all this scribble. You actually have a workbook that you can keep, because this is going to be applied to your own brand, not to mine. So this is not just notes and me telling you like conceptual stuff. You're going to work on your own personal brand. Okay. So you can email me to the email there on the screen, and I will make sure that you get your workbook, that you're registered, and you know where it happens and all of that.
Oh, Ati, Ati, sorry. I always for some I keep doing that.
Both are good, by the way. Both are good. Both are good. Ati, I kind of like people call me Atai. I'm like, I don't care.
Oh, but thank you so much for coming on. There was so many good takeaways. One of the things that we're going to do a little bit different now is I want people, when you see this, even if it's, after the live, I would like you to go down and make comments. What was your biggest takeaway today? All right. What was your biggest takeaway? All right.
I love that.
Yes. So then Ati can, she will be able to see, right? I'll make sure if there's any comments she can see, and she can make comments or answer any questions.
Yes, and you can tag me on the comments, and I would love to connect with you guys. I know that a lot of your clients, especially people that watch these shows, have businesses. And if you have any questions, no strings attached, reach out and let's chat, let's connect, let's create connections, no strings attached.
Oh, awesome. Ati, again, thank you so much. Everyone, see another great Fontis Insider episode. And I'm just so grateful for Ati. This is really important. You heard that I will be there as well because, we all need to have a personal brand, right? Yes, I love my Fontis, but there's also other things that are more heart centered that we also can bring to the world as well. And so please reach out to Ati. I've seen her work. I've seen how she works with people. She is the biggest cheerleader. And everybody, you guys have a great day.